there's 6.
That's just recording or
Where would
something?
you get 6?
Yep, writing the answers. So did you do number 1 yet, kids?
So,
What number are you on?
She's right.
Sophia? Yeah, so she was.
the first one.
Okay. So
Yeah. Is
X
that
first-
H
the
prime?
first derivative.
This is first and
No, that's H prime.
I thought, but when you take the derivative of an integral, I thought you get h.
So, but the answer is H prime. No, you're okay. Just put a prime after the H. That answer, that 1 over x cubed, is the derivative. Because you're taking the derivative of the integral. So like h of x kind of represents the capital F of x values. The derivative of that equals 1 over x cubed. So h double prime would equal what? Yeah, because it would bring up as -3. So it'd be -3x. And then the rule of thumb is you lose 1. So it'd be to the -4.
take that.
Where does that saying come from?
You subtract 1, not add.
So now I just have to take the derivative.
Yep, take the derivative of h prime.
So that's just x of -3 x.
Oh, it's
Yep.
H prime because it's the derivative.
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah, negative. So then how does...
You're finding it to 1.
Oh, okay, that's why I was saying, how are we finding it?
So you must add for those. Yeah, you do.
For the
Okay.
antiderivative, right?
Yeah,
That's
so you
my
must
point,
I'll
like,
circle
they're
on their
so
paper if you
similar,
want me to.
and, like, I don't know, like.
Brad, where did that say?
Stealing this for a second.
When you plug one in.
So if you take the derivative of this, now what do we have?
If you take the derivative of this, you get g prime.
So then we have to then...
Don't overthink it. You're finding g of 2. You're
Yeah.
not finding the derivative.
you're
So plugging 2 in for x.
But isn't that the derivative?
So the answer is 0, because that would make the balance 2 to 2.
Precisely.
And this is hard for this.
This is analytical thinking.
Wait, what did... I just missed that whole conversation there.
Here.
How did...
So they don't ask you for g prime of 2, they ask you
Yes.
for g of 2.
Yes.
Well, they gave you g. So if I ask you for g of 2, you just plug 2 in.
Oh, for the x there. I was wondering
Yeah.
why I'm plugging x.
So then you get a bound of 2 to 2.
Which is
Well,
0.
exactly.
Oh, that makes sense.
Now, did you get
That's what Anna was saying. She doesn't like this because you have to think critically. So what did you get for the next one?
a loss?
You're given the original, so you take the derivative. You take the derivative of an integral, then you plug in the upper bound, and have to multiply by the derivative of the upper bound. That is the chain rule. Okay. Careful. What you plugged in wasn't x, you plugged in,
Oh, the 2x.
yup,
Oh.
Wait, what? Oh, wait. Okay, wait. So you plug in 2x, for t. There's supposed to be a 3. And then you still times it by 2.
you cube it, yes. What's 2 cubed? Change that 2 to an 8. The inside, under the square
Oh,
root,
this?
it's 2 cubed. So 2 cubed is 8, because you plug 2 in at 2x,
Oh, so you still have to kind of solve that in a way? Like, oh.
so it's 8. So just change that 2 to an 8.
Okay.
8, there you go. That's your answer.
Wait, what's it?
Yeah, hun.
For d, is it 32? in front of it?
So it's...
I think it's just a typo.
That's what I thought, because isn't that
Wait,
the answer?
The answer is D without the 3. That's annoying.
What was speed?
It's multiple choice, but the answer is D without the 3. Like that 3 is a typo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
sending stuff.
That is funny.
Wait, okay, so if I take the derivative of this next one, am I getting f prime or f?
You'd get f prime,
Okay.
which would be the natural log of t. Are you talking 4 or 5?
5.
Yes. Sorry, I was talking 4.
I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is it?
What?
Because it's a constant to a constant, so it's
Oh, because you have to plug it in.
because if you plug, you know what I mean? If you take the antiderivative. Yep. Yep, that's correct.
What'd you get to?
Yeah, they said 4. I was just trying to figure they said 4 was D, so we have a typo. Alright, good. For 7,
Yeah.
C is correct. On 9?
Yeah.
Consider the function g of x equals the integral of 0 to x of f of t dt, and use the graph of g of f for this. So if you want to find
G of 2. So G of 2 equals the integral from 0 to 2 of f of t dt.
Aren't the bounds just constants? So isn't it 0?
Yes, however, now you're given the actual function. Like now f is the graph.
Oh.
It's not asking for the derivative. It's asking for the value of g of 2 again, so you have to be careful. It's not asking for the g prime of 2. That's the next one.
that's a big zero.
What?
It was a good circle. I was happy with it.
Wait, so
So g of 2 is like finding the integral from 0 to 2 of f of t dt.
I'm finding the area under the curve, is that what
So,
we're doing?
yep, you're going from 0 to 2. annoys me because it's not very clearly marked. So what you would have to do is find the slope of the line. So,
Which also, this is, yeah, this is
like, how stupid is that?
Oh, I guess there's a line I just can't see.
Yeah, there's little lines right here.
Oh, Spencer.
Oh, wow, the one on the board is so much better.
Yeah, it's at 6.
Okay, so it's at 2.6. Welcome to my world. And sometimes there's kids in that desk.
Wait, can we just use trapezoid?
Yes, you would use trapezoid. So what's 0 at? 0 what?
3, 2, 0, 2.
So 0, 2, and 2, 6. So that's 1/2.
Just 8.
So the height is 2, base 1 is 2 plus 6, exactly, it's 8.
So that's the value of G of 2.
Correct. So to find G prime of 2, use our formula. That's like taking the derivative of what is given to you. So G prime of x is like taking the derivative of g of x, right? So the derivative of the integral of f of t dt makes G prime of x equal to perfect.
Oh, so that's just like where it's at.
So exactly, G prime of 2
Which is 6.
is really equal to f of 2, which we already said was 6.
Oh, wait,
There's like one like this every year on the AP test. They give you one of these. G of x equals the bounds of 0 to x of f of t dt.
So G prime is equal to just F.
That's like what the fundamental theorem of calculus says. Because G is like the capital F, where f prime is equal to lowercase f. So in this case, G prime is equal to f of x. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's why the answer to G of 2 was the area under the curve, because you were kind of working backwards. It's like saying f of x on that graph is like G prime of x. Like the graph of f of x is really the same as the graph of G prime.
Yeah, that makes sense because it always, like, I remember on the worksheets, it always gave us the prime.
Yep. Okay, so G double prime then would be what? Would be the slope. Exactly.
Why?
Because so if f is linear,
Yep.
the derivative of a linear function is let's say the slope of that line, what is the slope of that line?
I think it's
2.
I think it's up 2 over 1, right?
Yep.
So if that function is 2 of x plus 2, that's the little, if I told you to make a piecewise function
Yes.
for that
That's
middle
this,
piece,
yeah.
it'd be 2x plus 2.
Yes.
What's the derivative of 2x plus 2?
2.
Therefore, if that
Oh.
represents G prime,
Yeah.
G double prime is the derivative of that.
Yeah.
So the derivative of that, like velocity type function, would be acceleration. So the acceleration would be 2. Therefore, the derivative is 2.
G prime of X.
Correct.
Okay, so it's G prime.
Is it making sense now?
Yeah, I think I'm starting to get it.
Awesome.
G
I said, this is the first time I really like Nimsy's worksheets. Like I
Yeah,
use
I
them
think
for
they
this
should, like,
entire unit. every worksheet that I found for FTC from them is phenomenal. So I don't know what teachers wrote them that they all of a sudden changed how their worksheets come, because they're all phenomenal.
Are these like new this year, or these old
Mhm.
ones?
No, I downloaded all of them this year.
That's pretty neat.
That's why, like, I've done them, but I haven't, like, taught them. So I'm sort of, like, winging this week a little bit with you guys, I feel like. Because I'm kind of like, here, let's do this one today. Because I did them all, because I was like, wow, I like these. But, like, I haven't had a chance to work through them with students. So that's actually why I'm sitting here, like, kind of watching you work through them instead of teaching it or just assigning it.
Well, how about you like do your work like everybody else instead of just sending stuff later to
What?
She said,
We're trying to
why
help.
aren't you joining our group?
I'm getting annoyed because my phone keeps buzzing, or my watch keeps buzzing from you sending stuff in the health group chat.
But it's the Spencer thing. It's
Okay,
the
but
wrap.
we're doing your homework.
It's what?
It's your Christmas wrap.
How do you have that?
Because I took a video of it.
Oh.
No. It's the first one just
No, I hacked your computer, Spencer.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for being honest.
Oh, you're welcome.
There's one more question.
There is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a bunch.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody get 12 yet?
I got A for it.
So again, this isn't a derivative, right?
Okay.
So you plug it in and you have to watch. The E of t one was 0 because of the way the bounds were. This one you have to actually plug in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not 0. It's not A.
The
It
bounds
didn't
are-
ask because it didn't ask you for the derivative. It asked you for f of 2.
We plug in 2 into
Would
x.
it be D?
What number are we on? 12? It's
12.
actually B. So it's f of 2 equals the integral from 1 to 2 of 3t ln 3. So ln 3 is a constant, so you bring it out in front. The antiderivative of 3t is our rule I gave you.
So do you plug in 2 to the t? Or no?
I put in 2 to the t eventually. What's the antiderivative, or what's the derivative of a to the u? Let's go there. What's the derivative of a to the u?
Derivative of a to u.
That's like the rules or whatever.
Like the old rule, right? Remember? What's the derivative of e to the u?
E to the U times U.
Okay. So go ahead and write that down on blank space. Derivative of e to the u.
So the
Down below it, yeah.
derivative of, what is it?
E to the u
E to the u.
equals e to the u times u prime.
E to the u times u prime.
So the derivative of a to the u
A to the u.
is a to the u times u prime, but there's something else added to its derivative.
Oh, isn't it natural?
The
log?
ln of a,
Yeah.
because the ln of e canceled, right?
Is it adding? Or is it multiplying
Times,
again?
times. So work that backwards into an integral.
Oh, is it just 3t?
Exactly. The antiderivative of 3t ln 3 becomes 3t because the ln 3's would cancel from the integral to the derivative. So now, because
So you're
the
doing-
if the derivative is a to the u times u prime times ln a, then the antiderivative is a to the u times 1 over ln of a, because it has to be the inverse of it, right? So if it's ln a here, then it's 1 over ln a for the antiderivative. It's on, it was in our notes the same day we did all the natural log stuff. So it becomes 3t because the ln of 3 is given to you in this, and then it cancels when you take the next part.
Wait, okay, I have a question.
Sure.
So, if we're finding f of 2, I thought when we took the derivative, we were getting.
We're not taking the derivative.
Then what are we doing?
Taking the antiderivative of 3t ln 3.
So then are we finding capital F?
No, we're finding f of 2.
But F, we already know what. Wait, what?
We don't know what f of 2 is.
Yeah, but I thought we would.
You're given the initial condition aspect is 1. So you're, write the integral, Spencer. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna ask.
Write the integral. F of 2 equals the integral from 1 to 2 of 3t ln 3 dt. So you're finding the integral. To get f of 2, it's equal to the integral of 1 to 2 of 3t ln 3.
Why
Because the original is f of x to a bound x.
Yeah.
So if you want
With
f of
respect to
2, the 2 is like the x. So you plug it in for all the x's. So now in order to get your answer, you have to integrate 3t ln 3. The antiderivative of 3t ln 3
and then you
is
plug it back
3t.
in. Okay, I can.
Exactly. So this is equal to 3t bounded from 2 to 1. So then you plug in, so you get 3 squared minus 3 to the first. 3 squared is 9, 3 to the first is 3. So you get 9 minus 3, which is B. So what I want you to do for tonight is the odds on my typed handouts. So there's one that says 5-3, and then there's one that says 5-4. Do the odds on both of those. Not all, just the odds. Because what that will do is give you an idea of both types of